The Chronicles of the Kings of Mann and the Isles. A Manx Chronicle is a medieval Latin manuscript relating the early history of the Isle of Man. Dating. The main part of the manuscript is believed to have been composed and written in 1261 or 1262 at Rushen Abbey on the island, shortly after the time of the Cistercian Abbey's dedication in 1257, which is the final event retold by the original scribe. The manuscript is written in ink on vellum, with pages roughly 15 cm by 20 cm. Contents. The Chronicles are a look back, year by year from 1016, over the significant events in Manx history of that time. Written in Latin, it records the island's role as the centre of the Norse kingdom of Man and the Isles, and the influence of its kings and religious leaders, as well as the role of Rushen Abbey itself, which was founded at the invitation of Olaf I Godredson, one of the Norse kings. The original scribe also wrote a list of popes which ends with Pope Urban IV. It is probable that the Chronicles were written for the new abbey on its foundation. Entries for the earlier years are notably shorter than those towards the end of the original section of the manuscript, no doubt due to later events having occurred within living memory of the time of writing, and thus more detail being available. Many of the dates of the earlier annals are put around 15 years earlier than the actual event, and none of these entries before 1047 are directly related to the Isle of Man, having been copied from a source shared with the Chronicle of Melrose. Several further notes were later added by the abbey's Cistercian monks, taking the Chronicles up to 1316. The manuscript also contains a copy of Bonizo of Sutri's Chronica Romanorum Pontificum and a territorial survey. A record of the bishops of the Western Isles to John Donkin is appended to the Chronicles. Provenance. After the abbey was dissolved in 1540, the manuscript is thought to have passed through a number of private hands until being presented by Roger Dodsworth to Sir Robert Cotton in 1620/1. Cotton's collection of medieval and early modern manuscripts was one of the founding collections of the British Museum and is now cared for by the British Library in London. Repatriation. There have been campaigns to move the Chronicles permanently to the Isle of Man. In 2014 it was confirmed that the Celtic League will be demanding the return of the Chronicles to the Isle of Man. Outline. 1016 to 1030, King Canut's marriage to Emma, the birth of the son Harthacnut and Canut's journeys to Denmark and Norway. 1031 to 1066, foundation of Bury St Edmund's Abbey, and the death of Canute. Death of King Edward the Confessor. 1066 to 1079, Battle of Stamford Bridge, William the Conqueror's victory at the Battle of Hastings. Conquest of the Isle of Man by Godred Crovan. 1079 to 1098, foundation of the Cistercian order at Citeaux in France. 1102 to 1152, commencement of reign of King Olaf. Foundations of Savigny Abbey, Furness Abbey, Rievaulx Abbey, Calder Abbey, Melrose Abbey, and Home Cultram Abbey. Grant of land at Rushen to Furness Abbey by King Olaf. 1165 to 1187, murder of Thomas Becket at Canterbury Cathedral. Capture of Jerusalem by Saladin. Visit by a papal legate to the Isle of Man. Marriage of King Godred, conducted by the Abbot of Rievaulx. 1228 to 1237, death of King Olaf on St. Patrick's Isle, and burial at Rushen Abbey. 1250 to 1256, start of reign of King Magnus. 1256 to 1274, completion of the Abbey Church of St. Mary's at Rushen and dedication by Richard, Bishop of Sodor and Man. List of bishops. A list of the bishops of the Diocese of Sodor and Man until Simon Orchidensis, who had died in 1248. The bishop at the time of the writing of the manuscript, Richard, was not included. Additions and translations. Broderick A. The Chronicles of the Kings of Mann and the Isles. 2nd ed. Douglas, 1995. Munch, P.A. and Rev. Alexander Goss. Chronica Regna Manniae Insularum. The Chronicle of Mann and the Sutras. 2 vols. Manx Society 22-3. Douglas, 1874. Available in HTML.